So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. You know, a lot of times men find themselves in situations that are counterproductive to their own growth. And society perpetuates this ideology that you should pride yourself as a man in your propensity to be a provider, not just for your own children or your own offspring or those who you're responsible for, but for everyone around you. And so a man meets a woman who has a child by another man and they aren't together for whatever reason. A lot of times we like to believe the narrative that the man just bailed on a woman, but very few men just up and bail on a woman. But here's the thing. Men are being shamed for being the type of individual who will not let a woman run them ragged over what should be their right. See, if a woman is making it absolutely difficult or virtually impossible for you to have a peaceful, positive relationship with your seed, then you probably should leave. And the problem with this society is that men are called everything but wise and smart and self-serving and sufficient and efficient in their own lives when they do something like that. We have to stop telling men that because we can find 1 out of 100 stepdad scenarios that look okay, where the man is hunky-dory about it, that's a route that men should take. Now, somebody sent me a video on IG, man. It's a very short clip of this guy playing the stepdad role, and the mom makes the mistake of calling him daddy in front of this little girl, and this little girl lets her mom have it. I don't know what you talking about, but what you saying ain't what's real. When you're in that position, you are not appreciated. And for every one man you show me who is appreciated, I can show you 1,000 who aren't. Let's take a deep dive on this one. But first, let's elevate to a higher plane. Prepare for takeoff. Now, the reality of the scenario is this. There are many single women out here with children, single mothers. Now, there are also many men who would be in those children's lives if the mother didn't make it so difficult for them. But here's the thing. A woman can make it difficult for the father of her child because she knows there's some simp who's going to come along and say, don't worry about it. I, myself, will step in and take over. You don't need anything from him. Cut him off completely. We don't need his money. We don't need anything. You know, these Russell Wilson type guys. But the reality to the scenario is this. No matter what you do or how you motivate your thought process to believing that you're doing something positive, you're not. You're doing something that reeks of desperation and reeks of a very low self-esteem and low self-value. Let's listen to this video, man, and we'll come back and chop it up on the real tip.
Oh, look at Daddy.
He's not my daddy.
Really, Ava?
He's not. My dad's in jail and I miss him.
Now, what you see in this video is a child who's at the age where children just keep it a buck with you. She hasn't gotten to the age where she's learned to try to have coup from how to, circumvent, people's feelings being hurt by sugarcoating the truth. She just told it how it was. This ain't my daddy. My dad is in jail and I miss him. And you heard the mother laugh. You know why the mother laughed? Because her man is in jail and she misses him. This dude right here is just a fill-in dude. He's filling in until the man that both the mother and child want to come home comes home. And why would any man be willing to put himself in that situation? Like, it's a very lowly position to be in. And no matter what you say or do, you don't get no props for being in that position. And am I a man who's telling you not to do something that I haven't done? No, I've been with a woman with a child before. And I'm just telling you from experience. There is nothing positive about it. There is no award for stepdad of the year. You have to embrace the reward and feel good because you get a pair of socks on Father's Day for the children that ain't yours. You understand what I'm saying? You get this gooey feeling inside, man, when a child who's not yours calls you daddy. You understand what I'm saying? You get this gooey feeling inside when you got to be involved with this woman while this man has the right to come and go in your residence. You see what I'm saying? I think the majority of men who are in these scenarios, man, are just willing to deal with these things because they feel like this woman is the best woman that they can have. And I just feel like, man, it's a travesty for any man to feel that way. You know, it's getting to the point where men are shunning other men who don't embrace this ideology and say, hey, man, well, I'm going to be a stepdad too. If that's what you want to do that, but keep it to yourself. Don't be out here promoting that like that's something that men should aspire to. How you going to promote to a young man who has his whole life ahead of him that the thing that he should do is aspire to be a father figure to some child that's not his, while the dad is out here traipsing around, or either while the mother is making life for the dad hard and you're filling in and making life even harder for the dad. Now you're giving her the ammunition she needs to keep being crazy with the father of that child because you're there filling in. I was on the Homer Ramil podcast earlier this morning, man, and that became a part of the topic. That wasn't the topic, but it became a part of the topic. And I chimed in on it and said exactly what I'm saying right now. There is always some simp who's going to come along and say to a woman, well, you know, whatever story a woman tells is always a half truth, if that much truth, could be a quarter truth. And she's always going to say that the man is bad and the man ain't doing that for his child and the man don't come around, the man don't do that. And you know what the stepdad simp going to say? He going to fall right in and say, well, don't worry about it. You don't need him. I'll take over. And then he want to fight the other man over the family that ain't even his. How you gonna be a stepdad and want to fight the real dad over his family? And then you around here beating your chest like that make you real. Boy, you just lie about 50% of your masculinity doing that. Humans are the only species on the planet that come and take care of other men's children. See, the problem is, if men stop doing that, then women would be forced to do what they have to do to keep that father in the child's life and not be so quick to try to just be facetious and narrow-minded and run him off with their foolishness and stupidity. They'd have to bite their tongue and stay in line and fall in place if they wanted to keep that man around because they know another man wouldn't fall in and take over that. And the main culprits of this is black men. Black men are quicker to do this than anybody. Even with all the preaching and ministering that we're doing about it now, black men are still more likely to end up with a woman who has not just one child, but multiple children by not just one man, by multiple men. And some men aren't even just busted like that. Okay, a lot of men used to be, busted, didn't have nowhere to stay, just leaving home with mom doing that. That's one thing, man, to just get out of the house with your mom, man, and put yourself in a situation where you can kind of maneuver around as a grown man and do some things to make some paper or build your life or whatever. But, man, you got men who are situated, men who are successful, men who are in a good enough situation, man, where they can change a woman's life, and you're going to change that woman's life? Yeah, they always say, yeah, man, it takes a nation. We all got to step in and fill in and do that. Nah, bro. When did this start? This started when women didn't want to do the thing necessary to make themselves wife figures, want to make themselves desirable as wives to men. So now they turn into something that men just have sex with. They end up with a child, and then they have some simp who's going to come along and fill in the gap and help her recover from the mistake that she made in her life. And a lot of time, the mistake isn't being with the man or having the child. The mistake is not making the mental adjustment and the emotional adjustment necessary to make the relationship work the way it's supposed to work. Because there aren't many men on this planet that don't want to be in their child's life, man. But I'm not telling you that a man should take any crap from a woman to do that. If the woman is making it very, very difficult for you to be in your child's life, man, you should bounce and just send money. Turn it into a bill, or let her turn it into a bill. If she want to make it a bill, turn it into a bill. Because here's the thing, that's the best option for you. If you can stay out of your feelings, the best option for you, man, is to bail on the woman, man, and let her raise the child the way she wants to. Because here's the thing, you can't allow a woman to force you to help her raise a child the way she wants to raise the child. And that's what's so good about the stepdad. That's why women love stepdads so much, because the stepdad will come in and just fall right in line and help a woman with her agenda. As far as raising children goes, he's going to come in and reinforce everything she wants to do, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes he'll come in, and even if he don't agree with it, what he going to say? All he can do is talk to the woman. Well, you shouldn't do this. Boy, you bang your head against a brick wall, man, trying to talk to a woman about how to raise a child that ain't yours. If the man who had the children with the woman can't teach her and talk to her about how to raise them, how you going to put yourself in that position like you think you're going to be able to pull that off? And this video is a prime example of that, man. And I'm not saying that having a child makes a woman a bad woman, but what it makes her is an unavailable woman. It makes her an ineligible bachelorette. You understand what I'm saying? Because that is an issue for the man who put the child in the woman, not for you to just go and take on that issue, man. And here's the real thing about it. Let's talk about it on a spiritual tip. You don't know what kind of spirit that man had. That man could have been a bona fide killer. That man could have been one of the most evil men on the planet. We don't know. But we do know that whatever he is, his spirit is in that child. So whatever he's made up of, that's what makes up at least 50% of that child. And depending on how dominant his genes are, even more. So I want you men to understand that there aren't many positive things that a man can say about being a stepdad. You understand what I'm saying? He can say that, yeah, it makes him feel fulfilled, like he's doing something. And a lot of time, men have gone through this situation with their own children's mother, and they just have this emptiness inside of them to play that father role. And so since they can't do it with their own children, they feel obligated to do it with someone else's children. But here's the thing, unless you absolutely positively build on your children with intent, when the woman was trying to have a family with you and trying to have you around, and you just bailed on them with intent, then if you didn't do that, then it don't make any sense, man, for you to be feeling guilty about it. You can't feel guilty about a situation in this society that you don't control. And men don't control the custody arrangement in this society. We don't control the child support arrangement. We don't control anything that has anything to do with the judicial system in this particular society. We control nothing. All you can do is paper up, lawyer up, and go in there, man, and fight your best fight. And that's if the child is yours. If the child isn't yours, you know what's crazy, man? No man should be willing to put in this position, man, especially when you realize that now you could be with a woman and end up paying child support for a child that's not even yours. And then I know a couple of guys, man, who say, man, they're okay with that. Well, you know, man, somebody got to help them with the children, man. Well, I tell you what, man, why don't you come over here, man, and help me clean up? You know what I'm saying? Come clean some fish for me. When I catch fish, you clean them and cook them and do all that, man. Since you're such a helper. God didn't put you here to be a helpmeet. He put her here to be a helpmeet. A stepdad is a helpmeet. A stepdad is living in femininity. And that's the real issue with it. And that's why many men who are in those situations end up bailing on them, because they can't wrap their mind around the concept or acclimate themselves as men to being in a position of servitude to a woman and her children, bruh. There ain't no other species on the planet does that. But here we are as men, especially black men, who are out here willing to be a helpmeet to a woman with her agenda, with raising her children by another man. And then we had the audacity to be around here beating our chests about it like it's something to be proud of. We're just actually the dude in this picture. And if you notice in this video, man, that boy kept right on fixing on that little girl bike, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know what it is? He probably lives with that woman. And see, when you live with the woman, then it puts you in a position where all you can do is go along to get along. So you can't say nothing. And in his mind, he probably thinking about what he could do next to make the little girl like him. But here's the problem. Once a child knows who its father is, you at a loss, stepdad. Ain't nothing you can do, stepdad. It's done, stepdad. So if you're going to be a stepdad, go over there in that corner and be a stepdad with the other stepdad. Don't be out here promoting this like it's something positive to do, man, because it's not. Whatever you want to call it. It's not red pill. It's not alpha. It's not masculine. It's not any of those positive words that we use to describe ourselves when we figure out that as men, we have the right to be men. And there's nothing manly about being a stepdad. And like I told you, I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking at you. Because I'm telling you that I empathize with your plight, because I know what kind of situation you're in, and I don't even see how you wrap your mind around it and make it seem positive to yourself. Because I've been with a woman with a child. Actually, I've been with a couple of women with children in my life. And I'm just telling you like this, it never pans out. There is never a future in it. When you think long term, you just can't see the forest for looking at the trees. And those trees are going to always be there. You understand? And I ain't talking about the trees in the forest. I'm talking about the trees that came from between that woman's knees and out of another man in UTs. That's nothing that a man should aspire to do, nothing that a man should aspire to be. And I want y'all to keep that in mind. The bottom line is, you can live the life you want to live and build the life you want to build. But if you are willing to step into a situation where you're a help weed for a woman, building your life is something you never will. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.